Right. So we are reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, text 10. And we are going to recite the verse in a call and response way. Nadveshtya kushalam karma.
Nadveshtya kushalam karma.
Kushalena nushachate.
Kushalena nushachate.
Tyagi sattva samavishto.
Tyagi sattva samavisto.
Medavi china samshaya.
Medavi chinna samsaya.
Nadveshtya kushalam karma.
Nadveshtya kushalam karma.
Kushalena nushajate.
Kushalena nusachate.
Tyagi sattva samavishto.
Tyagi sattva samavisto.
Medavi china samshaya.
Medavi chinna samsaya.
Nadveshtya kushalam karma.
Nadveshtya kushalam karma.
Kushalena nushajate.
Kushalena nushajate.
Tyagi sattva samavishto.
Tyagi sattva samavisto.
Medavi china samshaya.
Medavi china samshaya.
Nadveshtya kushalam karma.
Nadveshtya kushalam karma.
Kushalena nusajate.
Kushalena nushajate.
Tyagi sattva samavishto.
Tyagi sattva samavisto.
Medavi china samshaya.
Medavi china samshaya. Nadveshtya kushalam karma.
Nadveshtya kushalam karma.
Kushalena nusajate.
Kushalena nushajate.
Tyagi sattva samavisto.
Tyagi sattva samavishto.
Medavi chinna samshaya.
Medavi china samshaya.
Naveshtya kushalam karma.
Nadveshtya kushalam karma.
Kushalena nushajate.
Kushalena nushajate.
Tyagi sattva samavishto.
Sattva samavishto.
Medhavi china samshaya.
China samshaya. Anyone else would like to recite the verse? Okay, so we are going to read the word to word. Na, never. Dveshti, hates. Akushalam, inauspicious. Karma, work. Kushale, inauspicious. Na, nor. Anushajate, becomes attached. Tyagi, the renouncer. Sattva, goodness. Samavishta, absorbed in. Medavi, intelligent. China, cut up. Samshaya, all doubts. Okay, and now we are going to read the translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Those who are situated in the mode of goodness, who neither hate inauspicious work nor are attached to auspicious work, have no doubts about work. It is said in Bhagavad Gita that one can never give up work at any time. Therefore, he who works for Krishna and does not enjoy the fruitive results, who offers everything to Krishna, is actually a renouncer. There are many members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness who work very hard in their office or in the factory or some other place, and whatever they earn, they give to the society. Such highly elevated souls are actually sannyasis and are situated in the renounced order of life. It is clearly outlined here how to renounce the fruits of work and for what purpose fruits should be renounced. Okay, so I'm going to recite some more verses to invoke auspiciousness, and they are to be found in Bhagavad Gita introduction, first page, if someone wants to follow. Amagyanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Karamahayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sachivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parichanas Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sachivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parichanas Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishagam Vitamsha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantara Kantana Mostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangera De Vrindavaneshwarin Vrishabhanu Shute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhya evacha Patitanam Panebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhara Srivasari Gora Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Okay, so this is where I am in my personal reading of Bhagavad Gita, and it's also actually very much relates to what's happening. It's my experience with reading Shri Prabhupada books for almost 10 years now, that whatever is happening in my life, it kind of accidentally happens that I am reading verses or sections of his books that are particularly relevant to what's happening, what I'm contemplating, what questions I have. So it's happening again. And okay, so I started to do some service in the restaurant that serves Krishna Prasadam to the people. So it's very nice. It's called Govinda. It's a chain of restaurants that Shri Prabhupada established so that the devotees can have some income, and the people who go to the restaurant can get Krishna's prasadam. Prasada means mercy. So actually the devotees are so powerful that they can distribute mercy from Krishna. How amazing is that, right? Like Krishna is giving us, Shri Prabhupada says, this secret weapon, this tool of like how we can shower mercy upon everyone, Krishna's mercy upon everyone. So once a week, I am doing a service in this restaurant called Govinda, and it's very enlivening. And I come in contact with various devotees in the Govinda restaurant who are also doing service there. And it's interesting. So some of the devotees who go there, they earn money for that, which my understanding is what Shri Prabhupada wanted, that it can be like a source of income for the devotees who are having families, and it can be like a combination of, okay, work, like this is like an auspicious work or even transcendental work, but also having some income to maintain the family and expensive for a living. So some of the devotees who create income in the Govinda restaurant, they have a lot of, now I know I can use the seminar language. So they have a lot of like a have to energy, like, like I have to be here, and the days are so long, and I get paid so little, and I feel so not appreciated, and there is like this like resentment, and then like the guests come to the restaurant and they get to experience all that resentment.
Wow.
And then like we have like they can choose from two kind of meal, and sometimes like one is like salty and one is sweet, and the people who come to the restaurant, they can choose like they might have a little bit of both. And then this person with these grungy things, she like puts everything on the plate, so it's like mixes together. And it really looks, I mean, Bhakti Siddhanta would definitely appreciate it in this form, but most people will come not necessarily. And so I happened to inquire, I empathically listened to this person who is a devotee, very nice, a very nice devotee, and have many good, beautiful qualities of a devotee. Why she's there in the Govinda restaurant. I was curious, I wanted to find out. And then she had like this mixture of motivations of like, well, she actually wants to be a healer, but right now she doesn't have enough clients, so she also wants to make some money. But really, in any other job, she could make more money. That's a reality, right? In any other job, she could make more money. But then this is a service for Shah Prabhupada, So then she's like in the Govinda restaurant suffering because it's a service for Shah Prabhupada. So, okay, it's not that funny. But so I gave her a good advice to leave the Govinda restaurant and get a well-paid job. And then if she wants to, she can go to Govinda restaurants like once a week or twice a month or whatever is like that inspiration to do this service for no salary. But if she wants to make money, like a bigger, it's probably not that place, and it's not like really worth it to have like all this like grungy, resentful, toxic energy there. And I go there for association, so I would also like to have a colleague that would be more inspired than this. So it was a helpful conversation, I have to say. But okay, so it's like an interesting idea of the devotees sometimes, like that, like the service is like put in a very narrow box. Like, what does it mean, devotional service to Krishna, right? So, okay, so devotional service to Krishna, it means like being in the temple and serving the deities and cleaning the temple floor and cooking in the temple kitchen for the deities or for the devotees, or going out and distribute books, or being employed, well, not employed, doing service in the Govinda restaurant for like a financial reimbursement. But then what's the most important is Krishna consciousness, which means consciousness, as we could find from the term itself that Shah Prabhupada so brilliantly put in English.
Isn't it that devotional service doesn't get paid?
Okay, we have a question from the audience here in person. Isn't it that the devotional service doesn't get paid?
Yes.
Thank you, Anandini. Actually, I am receiving daily memories from Shah Prabhupada in my mailbox. I don't know how that happened, but for many years, every day in the morning, I have a little, like, one paragraph memory of Shah Prabhupada. And just like a week ago, I got a memory, and I'm not sure if it's 100% true, but that's the memories. That's the nature of the memories. And so there was a disciple of Shah Prabhupada, and he was French person. And he was translating Bhagavad Gita into French language. And then after some time, he sent a letter to Shah Prabhupada. Okay, I spent so much hours on translating Bhagavad Gita, so how much do I get paid for 1 hour? Like that. And then the person who is sharing this memory, he said, Srila Prabhupada, when he received the letter, he started to cry. And Srila Prabhupada said that if someone asks money for the service, then he will only get the money and nothing else. And that was painful for Srila Prabhupada because he felt the loss of the dear disciple. That like Srila Prabhupada knew, now I have no power to give him anything. I don't have the power to give him Krishna consciousness because all that can be given as a reciprocation now is the money because it's the business. So, like again, like my understanding of the Govinda restaurants particularly is that it was Srila Prabhupada like idea that the devotees, like those who have families and children, could make money as a business. It's a business. It's not like necessarily like a pure devotion. It can be, and I'm getting to the consciousness part. So it can be service, and for sure it also can be business. Business means I get money, and service means I do it unconditionally. But let's say I have a family and I raise my children in Krishna consciousness and I create programs and invite my neighbors for prasadam. So I utilize the money that I earn in the Govinda restaurant, again, in like renouncing them and serving Krishna. So it's like intrinsically not about the money, but about the consciousness. And so that's why this verse is like speaking so, especially the purport, right? Srila Prabhupada says, those who work very hard in their office or in the factory or some other place, and whatever they earn, they give to the society. Such highly elevated souls are actually sannyasis and are situated in the renounced order of life. So it's not necessarily about like asking the money or not asking, but about am I doing, there is a lot of movement now, so I'm a little disturbed. It's about the consciousness of like, okay, like why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And then am I like really doing this to remember Krishna, like the Damodarastakam prayer that we just read, the translation of the Damodarastakam prayer. I don't know who's the author of the Damodarastakam prayer. Did I go in that one?
I think the author is Maharaj Satyavrata.
Maharaj Satyavrata. Okay, so he says, millions of opulences are of no use to me, but may this vision constantly remain in my mind. So someone can be in the Govinda restaurant and there are devotees like that. And they just have this like constant vision of Lord Gauranitai and Srila Prabhupada and Shri Krishna in their mind. And they are just so ecstatic that they can do this service to Krishna. And it's not dependent on anything external. Like they could be in the factory and thinking like the money that I am going to earn in this factory, I am going to use to serve Krishna, to please Krishna, to spread Krishna consciousness. And then that absorption is that what counts. And that's why in this prayer is like, millions of appliances are of no use to me, but may this vision constantly remain in my mind. So it's not about like how much do I earn, but why am I doing this? And I might be earning millions of dollars per hour or nothing, but it doesn't matter as long as we start with the right being, as we like to say. We do have principle. So then the being is like love for Krishna. I am the loving servant of Krishna. Then the doing is the loving service, because that's what the people who love Krishna do, right? And then they have what the lovers of Krishna have, and that's even more service and more bhakti, and more transcendental realization and more joy in life and more transcendental happiness. I mean, like, we should be captivated, Srila Prabhupada says, we should be captivated to get this, because this is ultimately what we all want to experience. And so many times there is this misconception that, like, okay, like working in Govinda, that's a service to Krishna. That if you work in the factory, like making shoes, that's not a service, right? Or if you I don't know, if you are detailing cars or doing massage therapy. And so, of course, like there are like some, how to say, like it's like we are not really good at this consciousness. At least I am not. It's very difficult for me to be in the consciousness of like, I am doing this to please Krishna, or I am doing this to please my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada. And so for sure there are environments that are conducive for us so that we can remember, and there are environments that are more challenging. And the most important for us to remember is what Srila Prabhupada gave us as a sandwich program. So sandwich program starts with a morning program, few hours of remembering Krishna in the morning, and then going from there and maybe like forgetting as the hours in the day go on. And then even in the evening, having another chanting of Hare Krishna and reading and remembering again before we go to sleep.
Sometimes 2 morning programs.
Sometimes 2 morning programs. Like, for example, here in Villa, Switzerland, we already had 1 morning program today. And now we are having a 2nd morning program today. And it's very enlivening. I was thinking, like, there is always morning program somewhere. So let's say you get up too late and you're like, oh, I missed the morning program. Don't worry, just find out where is the morning program at that time that you got up. There will always be some. So that's Srila Prabhupada's mercy. So yes, so Srila Prabhupada sometimes give the example of a woman. It can be a man too. And the woman, she's having a paramour. So she's having a lover. And she has a husband also, right? And so the woman, she's doing her activities very, very nicely with like great attention and care so that the husband doesn't become suspicious. And her consciousness is constantly absorbed in her lover. And that's like, the closest, or like one of the metaphor. It's a metaphor how we can like understand this Krishna consciousness, and how it's not a process of elimination, but a process of utilization. So whatever life we have, it can be completely 100% dovetail in Krishna consciousness as soon as we like start to practice it, and like really practice it 24 hours a day. So Anandini shared today, that was inspiring. This is Lord Jagannath's temple. Anandini lives here with her husband and 2 daughters, and Lord Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, and Radharani, and Lord Gopinath. She says, okay, this is Lord Jagannath's temple, and this floor, you don't see the floor, it's very beautiful wooden floor. It's Lord Jagannath's floor. And so when I clean it, I have to do it with great scientific research and care, meaning like really find out how to do it and what chemicals to use so that the floor stays very beautiful and clean, and then it's done in such a way that's really pleasing to Lord Jagannath. So in every activity, we can like cultivate this, like doing the things with great with great love and care. So it's done in such a way that's like really, really pleasing to Krishna. Like sometimes we have the idea like, I want to see God. I want to see God. If God exists, he should appear here now. Otherwise, I just don't believe in him. Srila Prabhupada says, well, we really need to act in such a way that God, Krishna, he wants to see us. So then also like when we do any service, it's like we might think like esoterically, but Srila Prabhupada really was emphasizing cleanliness and punctuality. Cleanliness and punctuality. So that doesn't sound so esoteric. Or that it's but that's how we show our care. And also that's like, let's say, like easy ways how that help us to remember I'm doing something for someone special. Because if I'm like expecting some really important guest, of course I will be on time. Of course I will take a shower and dress very cleanly, so I am sure that I don't smell like sweat or something like that, right? So that's the mood of like always remembering or practicing to always remember that Krishna is here, and he might show up any moment in the form that's visible to our eyes. And are we ready to receive him? Are we ready to receive him? So I am also doing some service in the temple for the deities there in Czech Republic. And like, I want to say two things to that. Like, one, first, when I got invited that I could do that service, which was quite enlivening for me because it's a new opportunity that I didn't have before, I was thinking, it's offensive, but I will say it loud because I trust I can in this environment. I thought like these two, like they have marble Goranitai, and I thought like these are like the most ugly deities I ever seen. And when I was like considering whether I will like say yes to do service, I was thinking like, but why to these two? Very, very offensive. So anyway, I said, okay, whatever, I will stretch myself and do that. Krishna is full in 6 opulences. It's beauty, and then knowledge, and power, fame, renunciation, and intelligence. I hope I got them right. And this sort of kind of and these opulences, they are attractive. Like they are attractive when someone has them, it's attractive for us. And then Krishna is the only person. Krishna is a person, and he's the only person who has all these 6 opulences in full. And I am personally particularly attracted by the beauty. It might be like superficial or snobbish, but whatever, my eyes are really attracted to beauty. So it was like for me big in this decision-making process of like, I would like to serve the deities, but some deities that are really beautiful, not these deities. But anyway, I decided to agree to that. And the deities became so beautiful. Like now I think these are like the 2 most beautiful, like I've never seen such a beautiful Goranitai. And it's true when I said that. And I cannot stop looking at them. And so I think like, this principle like comes really alive there for me. Like I want Krishna to show himself to me versus, okay, I show up and so it's like pleasing to Krishna, pleasing to Srila Prabhupada. And then Krishna naturally reveals himself more and more to us. So this Gauranitai said, And then all the devotees who were in the temple were constantly saying, like, these are like the most sweetest Goranitai ever, and they are so beautiful. And I was thinking, like, yeah, I know, you just try to be polite. I was thinking, because I didn't see the beauty of the deities. And so that's one. And then we can like maybe also share it in the morning, like we can like check the motivations. And sometimes, so in the temple in Czech Republic, the devotees are very like fault finding. I had some other experiences before from preaching programs, and I was thinking it's because it's like really like stressful environment, so that's why. But I am just like learning it's part of the culture. Like if you want to become a good devotee, it's good that like you are like constantly criticized, and then you become more humble, and also you do the service better. I think that's like some of the mentality there, except that maybe they don't even think about it whatsoever. So one of my service is that at 7:30 a.m. I take the offering plates and go downstairs to the kitchen where there is the cook who cooked the offering, and I put it on the little plates and bring it up. So when I was there for the second time, the cook tells me, you came too early, because now when you put it on the plates, it will all like be too cold when the offering's at 7:45. So next time you need to come later. So I'm like, okay, I got a manual, and the manual says go there at 7:30, and like at 7:30 I am there like 1 minute exact, right? But okay, it's too early. So next time I go 7:35. 7:35, that's the time. Like I think like 10 minutes is like still enough time to like put everything. And then this very same cook is like, I am in like so much anxiety and frustrated because you are so late, and I'm like all afraid that the offering is not going to be done on time. So I'm thinking for myself, wow, this is like really wonderful, because it really helps me to do the service for Goranitai. And it's from 3 a.m. till 9 a.m., like really intense service. So, and then all this criticism, and I'm thinking like, oh, thank you, Krishna, this is wonderful. And Shah Bhaktisiddhanta, he said, those who praise me are my enemies. And I can like really see when I get a lot of praise amongst the devotee communities, like the praise start to be my motivation. But I don't want that. I want the service to be my motivation. And then after the 6 hours of service at 9 a.m., there is like a page of mantras for forgiving offenses. That I like, a part of the service is that I like have to, quotes and quotes, it's like part of the service that I have to recite it at the end. And then it goes like, so I am like really very paraphrasing. Sorry, Krishna, I am like humbly apologizing for doing everything in like such an improper mood, and with not enough devotion, and with no proper mantras, and unclean. And I can feel so much how purifying it is for my false ego, because I'm thinking like, well, now like Krishna should really come and tell me like, thank you, Hladini. You did like so much service to me, and I'm like so indebted to you. Here is a unicorn for you, or something, And then reading these mantras, I'm like, wow, this is really like so purifying to do. Like for me, it's a lot to get up at 3 a.m. and then do like this like intense morning service and not even chant any of my rounds. And then like connecting with, yes, and it was like so imperfect. And then I only like rely and depend on Krishna's mercy that he will accept. I only rely and depend on Shri Prabhupada's mercy that he will like kind of take, Shri Prabhupada will take if there was like some drop of sincerity, which maybe even wasn't, but maybe if Srila Prabhupada closes one of his eye or something, and he finds a drop of sincerity, and then he gives it purified to Krishna. Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam, and I cannot remember the rest now. Yome Bhakti Prayojita. Anyhow, he says that whatever one offers me with love, I will accept. So the thing is that I have no qualification to offer anything to Krishna in such a way that he would accept. But Srila Prabhupada is more merciful than Krishna, so he accepts even with all the faults, and then he offers what's left, and we understand there might not be a lot of left to Krishna. So that's why it's so important to have a relationship with a pure devotee spiritual master, that he can connect us with Krishna in this way. And yes, so okay, I think that's good for now. So I will read the verse again. Nadveshtya kushalam karma kushale nanukshachate yagisatva samavishto medavichina samshaya. Those who are situated in the mode of goodness, who neither hate inauspicious work nor are attached to auspicious work, have no doubts about work. Yeah, I wanted to say one more thing about the money. Like, I was thinking about the conditioning. It's really our conditioning. Like, we are so conditioned by money. And I know for myself, like practically always in my life, I was only doing things that I really like to do as per work, in quotes. Like, except like when I was studying and I had some like summer job, I never did the work that I would like not like to do, that I would exchange my time for money. I would always do something that I like to do and find purposeful, and then find a way how to get money from that activity. And even that, like, it happened to me several times in my life that then somehow or other, especially when I would start to make more money, that I would like my consciousness would like leave like, oh, I love to do this activity and it seems meaningful. And I would like so much focus on the money, and then the whole thing would be spoiled. And then, I would need to take a break or stop doing it and return later or something. So I can see how the money conditioning is like so ingrained in us. Like, the money means like success and safety and fame, and like I mean something, I'm an important person, whatever. It just means a lot in our conditioning. And so I can see how like dangerous it is to take the money for like if I really want to do service, and we understand that working anywhere it can be with the service consciousness, and taking money can be in the serving consciousness. And also it can be like very dangerous. And if I like want to like when I go to the Govinda restaurant, I don't want any money, because I really want to I said to the leader of the Govinda, I said, I want Krishna giving me transcendental credits for this. I don't want any money, Yeah, I am not taking that thing. But yeah, it can be dangerous. And Srila Prabhupada, in one of the recent class that I heard, said that it's more difficult to renounce the money than to renounce the work. And it also resonates with me very much. Like, it's so much easier for me to say, like, okay, I'm not, this is Maya, I'm not doing this anymore, I'm doing something else. But to like go to work, make money, and then say like, here, this is a donation for prasadam distribution to starving children in India, and I don't take anything for myself, or, I take 50% for myself and 50% I give. Srila Prabhupada says this is so much more difficult. And I can also like feel that in my heart. The money just are like, yeah, it can be a dangerous slippery slope. So it's a very good practice. I want to say very good practice for our Krishna consciousness to practice to give some percentage of the income, whatever that might be. According to Rupa Goswami, 50% is ideal, but to give some percentage to some good cause can be a very good practice of that learning, at least the karma yoga. It's karma yoga to renounce the fruit of activities. Hare Krishna. Okay, any comments, questions, doubts, corrections, philosophical corrections?
Hare Krishna, Hladini Shakti. I'm inspired by your class. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. Just a few things come to me. Like at the beginning, just I appreciate the real life examples there in the restaurant, the Govinda restaurant, and in the third canto of Bhagavatam, Lord Kapila Dev's teachings to his mother Devahuti. So Lord Kapila, he describes devotional service in different modes of nature. And that could be, it's like, well, devotional service, it's always transcendental. And that's true. But that doesn't mean that the consciousness I approach it with is transcendental. So just so what you described of a particular servant there in the restaurant, it sounded, real similar to what Lord Kapila Dev describes as devotional service, bhakti, in the mode of ignorance, in the mode of tamas. It's characterized by, why do I have to do this? It have to mentality, resentment, grudge, and the hours are so long. So it's like devotion. It is devotional service, which is transcendental in the mode of ignorance. And then devotional service in rajas, in passion, could be like, I'm doing it for the fame, for the money. I'll be seen as a saint. That's so exciting. And like that. And or maybe for the salary or like that. Then devotional service in sattva, in goodness. I'm doing the service, whether it's prasad preparation or book distribution or raising my children in Krishna consciousness. I'm doing the service truly from compassion and for purification of myself and others, to distinguish reality from illusion. And then fully transcendental devotional service, it's not even like for purification, it's truly out of love for Krishna and his pure devotee. So that's something to aspire for.
Thank you. I appreciate that you are giving it some frame, to my scattered thoughts, that you give some frame. Hare Krishna.
A philosophical framework there from Lord Kapila Dev's teachings. And then another thing that came to me, a personal example, because you said like sometimes the conception of devotional service is so narrow, and you gave examples. I'm remembering this was several years ago, maybe 6 years ago or so. And there was a Saftito Foundational Seminar here in Alachua County, Florida. And that was like one of those seminars. There was like 60, 65, 70 participants. It was like a lot. And there was someone who was staffing for the first time, and her background is, I'll call it, temple devotee. She was a temple devotee, like that. And that's kind of her training, and certainly very sincere in her practices and rigorous and like that. And so it was in one of those hotel rooms, but where they didn't allow us to serve prashad. Now, in more recent years, we're doing it in hotel rooms where they do let us serve lunch prashad. So we weren't serving lunch prashad, but at the end of the course, we would sneak in some prasadam cookies or candies or things like that. And so I think we had like a lot of cookies. And so Mother Malini was, towards the end, she was directing massive prasad distribution to the many participants. And then this particular devotee who was staffing, and you know the scene. There was like, I'm in my Western suit and tie, and there was a relatively small percentage in this course who identified as devotees and like that. But I just noticed, and Malini and I, we were communicating afterwards, that this devotee staff member, she was not seeing this as prasad distribution. She could not see it as it's prasad distribution is like when you have a Sunday feast, and then people come and then you serve, or maybe you go to some festival and you're distributing, distributing samosas at the festival while kirtan's happening. But of course, the cookies, they were offered and all of that. But it was just like, it was so out of the box. She couldn't even engage in. She couldn't see it as prasad distribution. So just wanted to share that example. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, thank you for sharing. That's why we need to have this discussion and association, so we can like step out of these ideas. But it's really interesting because I started to practice Krishna consciousness through association with you, and you never gave me these conceptions. But I had for so many years this thinking. I don't know where I got it, but it's probably natural to narrow-mindedness is also a conditioning of the conditioned soul. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm having some cough, so I have to drink.
Thank you, Nini.
Hare Krishna.
I appreciated your class too. And I especially appreciate the discussion about the consciousness. So I asked this question: the devotional service cannot be paid. And yeah, I get also, so Srila Prabhupada, he earned a lot of money.
Yeah.
At some point he created, I don't know how many thousand each day. I mean, he created, that's what he got. And he didn't take it for himself, and it was not his consciousness. It's not now I'm doing this to get a salary. I'm doing this to spread Krishna consciousness, and it's good to get a very high salary because then we can distribute even more books. So yeah, I appreciate this a lot. It's about the consciousness and not what it looks like externally. And regarding giving up the fruits of like you said, it's easier to give up the activity than the fruit, than the payment, and how to use the payment. I contemplate on that sometimes, what it means. So I'm in a household life. So we have a family and we have bills to pay, and our daughters, they learn music, and so if I want to follow give 50% of the income to spreading Krishna consciousness or bringing Krishna consciousness to the world, can that not include investing it in the children and raising them in Krishna consciousness? And then it becomes it would be really easy. It's it would be so easy to just say, do this, and then it's then we're good. And it's not so easy. Am I clear in what I want to express?
I think you would like to have like let's say like maybe more clarity on like how does the 50% giving to spreading Krishna consciousness, for example, looks like. Like
Yeah. Well, yes. I mean, yes. Sometimes I would have like more clarity.
Like few principles are coming to my mind. So one is like Srila Prabhupada said that in Kali Yuga, a man who will be able to maintain one wife and one child will be like a hero.
Oh.
Because it will be so much like as the Kali Yuga is advancing, so much more and more difficult to do that, to like be able to go to work and make enough money or to maintain. So like it like is like, you know, how these things necessarily like apply to us, like this give 50%. That's one. Like in the Rupa Goswami approach, there was already 25% for the family, 25% for savings, and 50 to give out. So that's another principle. Like how does it relate to every single one of us? I'm not sure. I think like one principle is like it needs to be practical. And we have my favorite horse analogy. That's the best part of the Bhagavad Gita.
The reins, yes, pulling the reins too tight or letting them too loose. Yes.
So I had experience that it's like a few years ago that I was giving 10%. And it was a great experience because like in my mind I didn't count with the money. So it was just so I counted with what I have left, like the 90%. And then the 10, and I was so free to donate like to so many like different projects that I was inspired by, and I was like even like sometimes actively looking, and it was a very nice experience. And then I wasn't working for some time, so I stopped doing it, and now I'm working again, but I didn't start yet. But yeah, it like I think. Like I still think it's a nice practice, and it doesn't like align with this horse analogy. It doesn't have to be a lot, but like really giving the money like somewhere completely else, I think can be like a nice stretch practice for this renouncing of the fruits. Because like if I have a family, I would anyway giving it to the family, and it makes most sense. But it can be, you know, whatever, it can be like 10 francs each month. It doesn't have to be 50%, but it can be like some little step, but like that I found it for myself helpful to do that, even though I wasn't last year. I mean, I was, but not like in the committed structure of like every month or every year at least, like that.
Hare Krishna. Thanks for sharing. I appreciate the principles you bring into the conversation, Hladini. And yeah, the first part of your sharing, Nandini, I appreciate how you brought in Srila Prabhupada, certainly the personification of this verse that Hladini gave class on. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada, as like it went into the 1970s, he would say that, yeah, but just from the book distribution, we're bringing in more than $50,000 per day. And he would especially like to give numbers when he was speaking in India. He would be like bragging, he would be like boasting. And it was kind of like in your face sort of thing, because especially in India, the idea is, oh yes, we know Krishna and Bhagavad Gita, but we want to make money. We want to make money. We don't have time for the spiritual life. And so Prabhupada would kind of be boasting in your face, like, yeah, we're just 100% giving to Krishna, nothing but Krishna, and we're making a lot more money than you. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but so he would say, we're bringing more than $50,000 per day. How are you doing in your finances like that? And he would be bragging. And of course, And of course, the thing there is Srila Prabhupada never used 1 penny or 1 paisa for his sense gratification. So that's personification of this verse. And then as far as the 50%, yeah, well, that's definitely something like we're, like, I'm sorry to say, we're meant to use our independent thoughtfulness. We're meant to use our brains of how to sorry, of how to apply that in our situation. So one thing is giving to where, giving to who? Okay, because we could be giving to some, I'll put Krishna conscious projects. There might be some Krishna consciousness there, and at the same time, there could be a whole lot of apasiddhanta there, a whole lot going on there that's completely contrary to the philosophy Prabhupada gave. But externally, it looks like so giving to where, and I'm not wanting to minimize that. Yeah, that renunciation. Yeah, let me give. And at the same time, like not to minimize the renunciation principle, let me cultivate detachment from money by giving to a transcendental project. So one is, how much have we researched how transcendental it is? And I don't want to be cynical in that, just practical, grounded. And then, so then at the same time, like, to the extent that we're truly transforming our homes and our households into Prabhupada-centered Krishna conscious temples, then okay, then when we are paying the electric bill or the finances for raising our children in Krishna consciousness, well, that could certainly be considered as that's giving, that's using Krishna's Lakshmi and Krishna's service. We don't want to take advantage of that, like, yeah, my home's a temple, so I don't need to give anything anywhere, because whatever I do, actually, last year once I even got up for Mangal Arti, so it's just like, hey, my home's a temple, so whatever I do with the money, it must be Krishna. So we don't want to take advantage of that. At the same time, to the extent that, like, we're using our homes for at least 2 morning programs per day, then, well, that is Krishna conscious expenditure. So, and generally, like, yeah, for about 45 years now, I've heard different discussions. What's this mean? 50% here, then 25% for savings. Rupa Goswami took sannyas when he did that. Why did he have say? So there's interesting, enriching discussions, and I haven't seen anyone like, here's the clear understanding. And so my understanding is Rupa Goswami and Prabhupada. It's a principle. It's an interplay of principles, and it's our opportunity and responsibility to apply and integrate it in our circumstance. Hare Krishna.
So how about like there are like stories which I have no names in mind, but stories of like someone who is like selling banana leaves and having like very little money and still giving 50% to his spiritual master, and then having the hole in the roof, and then there is only one piece of cotton cloth for the husband and the wife, so whoever is going out is dressed and the other one is not dressed, so but still giving the 50%. There are stories like that, or
Yeah. Kolavecha Sridhar, he was completely poverty stricken, but he would give 50% and like that. Right. So then that's it. So that the principle is like, yeah, so to give to spiritual master, give to Srila Prabhupada. So and the good, yeah, what's our responsibilities? What's our varna? What's our ashram? These are all considerations. Like, to what extent are we endeavoring to live Brahminical? To what extent are, like, yeah, I'm endeavoring to be a Vaishnav, and I'm in Vaishya Dharma. I'm in Vaishya Dharma. So what Vaishya Dharma means, like, I'm meant to make profit. Okay, like, and like that. Of course, whatever one's varna the idea is to be a Vaishnav. So, but you say, yeah, like to give to the spiritual master. So again, let's say you're using electricity there in Wheeler, and you're using electricity for
Tulasi.
what's
The
that?
light for Tulasi.
Yeah, for Tulasi and for light to read Bhagavad Gita. So is that not giving to Srila Prabhupada? Is that not using money for Srila Prabhupada? So examples like Kolavecha Sridhar, yeah. So how to apply that example? Like if we take Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are examples like completely penniless Kolavecha Sridhar selling a few banana leaves and still giving 50%. Then there are examples like uh, Pradyumna Misra and Ramananda Roy, and they were just, they were in so much opulence, and when they would hear the sound of a flute, they would faint in ecstasy because it would remind them of Krishna. So it's the consciousness, and then as far as the externals, we don't want to. We don't want to be cheating and taking advantage. Like, everything I do is for Prabhupada, so I don't need to give anywhere. At the same time, there's truth, and there's truth to if in our households we're truly using it we're usually utilizing it as a temple for Krishna, then money spent for those expenses, that can certainly be said. So the different examples, how we get to be enriched and learn and grow in our spiritual life by all the examples, and how to apply each of them. How does it apply to me at different junctures of life? That's our questions.
No, I just want to thank you. I appreciate it. It seems like one of these questions to be in, like throughout life, again and again. What does it look like today? Oh, I appreciate the discussion.
So I want to share one doubt that I have about what you shared, Raghavendra Prabhu.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it is like feels like I understand, technically speaking, that I might be like in 100% Krishna consciousness and like 100% utilizing everything for Krishna. And then, of course, all income, whatever I do with it, is like that. But like, to me, it like feels like somehow like cheap.
Yeah.
And I think it's especially because I have that experience, how difficult it is to give the money.
Yeah.
Especially when I am not committed. When I have a clear commitment, then it becomes quite easy because it's like part of the structure.
Yeah.
But if I'm like to, and sometimes I get like a very big clarity about like, okay, give that much money to there. And it like really feels like such an anartha, like
Yeah. Pulling some weed there. Yeah.
Yes. And I have to like breathe through it, and then maybe wait for like a few more weeks. And then, but like what I want to say, like from this experience and also from like seeing other people, how they relate to money, it feels like that there is like something like so vital about like stretch ourselves in that way and not to like hide in like, well, I guess, my house is a temple and I invite like guests every week and we cook boga for them. So there is like so much money spent on it. And all these things, it just like feels like I understand philosophically it like really might be, as you are saying, but then like experientially it really like doesn't resonate much.
Thanks for sharing. I think I'm understanding what you're saying. Not just understand, I'm completely agreeing with you. Okay, so we're talking principle. In practice, I give money. I give donations to several devotional projects. I also give some donations to not devotional projects, but I won't go there here. I give donations to a lot of devotional projects that I'm so inspired by. And it's not even like the project, but for me, it's not about the conscious, like the person, the devotee behind the project. And I'm inspired to give to them. And I know what they're doing. It's for Prabhupada and it's clean. And I have many. Now, so yeah, I do that. And when I do it, I feel just like you're describing. I feel like, yes, I feel the transformation. I'm cultivating. It's a narta nivritti. This is my money in my bank account. I don't have a transcendental mentality. And I hear sending $250 to this, and then it feels like, thank you, Krishna, for giving me some transcendental intelligence. So I give donations to devotional projects regularly, and I do endeavor to do research that, like, is this something I really stand by? And I feel the anartanivritti. I feel the pulling the weeds. I feel myself freeing myself from greed and all of that fear-based stuff that's around the material money. So I feel like you do, and I do like you do. So there's the philosophy, and in practice, yeah, I mean, I feel the same. I don't have, like, just the way I don't have like a set percentage per month or per year and give that much, but but each year I am giving pretty regularly to devotional projects. And even as time, like, I'm thinking, like, yeah, it would probably be good for me to give more to projects that I have faith in. So I'm completely in agreement with you in principle and in practice.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. I'm really curious about your non-devotion. But another time.
That could be next class or something like that. Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I have the experience of, when our house, fills with guests and they come and they get, like they get prashadam and they get kirtan and they get Srila Prabhupada. And I sense an attitude of like consuming. Oh, I can come here and I can just get and
Eat.
And so
Eat for free.
So I'm giving to them. It's
Yeah.
It's a donation, and it's
You feel that.
I feel that because my thoughts go, like, you should be giving me a donation. So it is a purifying experience for me often.
Yeah, so I think as long as that experience is there, it's all good. And like I think, like, speaking for myself, it's so interesting because, like, I don't have a financial scarcity. Like,
Yeah.
practically most of our expensive is like on Yogeshwara. So, I
Yeah.
really I could, at least in theory, have like a completely free relationship with money, but still it's like.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Right. So, Anandina, you're sharing because, like, you're giving, and that's kind of like you're the temple or ashram president in those programs, and you're experiencing some come and they have an entitlement mentality and this and that, and yeah. So and then that's like it. So then we can become resentful, like you should be, or we can just say, okay, Krishna, this is an opportunity to serve with joy unconditionally. I would say, I actually recently, not too long ago, I had some conversation with Nalini Kanta Prabhu. He's just brief, because over decades, I mean, because he was a temple president back in the 70s, but then you're all familiar with his home, really. And so he hosts program. He has this beautiful temple room, like that, and like 150 people will come. And he shared with me, like, some come, like, they'll come just for the prasad, and not just they'll get prasad, then they'll get like 5 containers to take, and like, where's the boundary, and then he said, and of course myself, because I have definitely have those feelings, not just now, but even back earlier in my career when I was temple president in Tel Aviv, or so I've been, and people would just come. At the same time, somehow I have, because of my experience, I can easily go to empathy, because I can't believe they're only coming for the food. Huh. Can you imagine? Because, like, I can I can go to like for 3 years, I only went for the food, and I like, well, but afterwards you would help do the dishes. No, I didn't do any service. I didn't do any service. And
But you left donation, huh?
I was a complete taker. I was just taking advantage of the Hare Krishna. So I can have it's easier for me to have empathy. And of course I was like tricking the devotees, but the devotees in Krishna were tricking me, because even I've shared, so, sometimes Stamba would rearrange the schedule so I would arrive just for the prasad, but it would be when it was class or kirtan time. And I'm like, so then I would have to hear, yeah, poor me. Then I would have to hear a class and be in kirtan, and then I was getting some purification. So I was one of those who came just for the prasad, and I wasn't. And this might surprise you. I was not a light eater.
Thank you for sharing that. I will remember that, like in future. Whenever I get a sense someone's just taking, I will remember what you just shared.
Yeah, and yeah, and
It's worth giving.
yeah, and Stamba and all the devotees, they would just joyfully give bhakti. I wasn't even Bhakti Dev. I was just completely Maya Karmi Dev. They would just joyfully give me more samosas and sweet rice, and year after year. And then at the same time, there are boundaries. And one more, I'm thinking here of our friend Sabyasachi Scott in Wales now. So, so he was temple president first in Tallahassee, then he came to Gainesville. Gainesville had already been serving prasad on campus since like 1970. And actually, it was, so he came, and then he did institute, it wasn't like a required fee, but he instituted a kind of like suggested donation, minimum $3. And some were criticizing him. Oh, it's prasad, you shouldn't charge. At the same time, he did it in such a way where the temple it became more abundant, and the number of plates served increased, because the students they kind of respected it more. They respected it more, and it was still, I don't know if the word price is correct, but it was still the lowest priced lunch you can get, and tastier and like that. But he brought, because he's a PhD in accounting, so he brought in his expertise, and he did kind of institute more financial structures, and that really like helped the level of sattvic exchange. So sometimes there are boundaries and structures to set up in different prasad distribution programs. Hare Krishna.
Okay, any other comments? Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Station, Hare Krishna.